Hannah had only been in the country for a few weeks, carrying dreams bigger than the small room she lived in. Every day at the massage clinic felt like a step toward building a life she had promised her family. But that morning, everything changed. What began as a routine session quickly turned unsettling when Mr. Hunt crossed the line, touching her in ways that made her freeze with fear. She tried to pull back politely, hoping he would understand. But instead he twisted the situation and acted as if she had done something wrong. For a moment, she felt completely powerless, an immigrant, with no support, no voice, and no one who would believe her over a wealthy man. Yet somewhere beneath the fear, a quiet determination began to grow, reminding her that she wasn't here just to survive. She was here to stand her ground. After the incident, Sienna hoped it would end there, but Mr. Hunt wasn't done. Instead of admitting his behavior, he twisted the story even further, storming out and accusing her of hurting him. Moments later, her manager pulled her aside, reminding her, almost warning her, that Mr. Hunt wasn't just any client. He was the owner's husband, a man whose influence could easily cost her the only job she had. The words stung. "You're an immigrant. You need this job." It wasn't advice. It was pressure, the kind that made her feel smaller than she already did. And when Mr. Hunt demanded she come to his house the next day, pretending it was about giving her a second chance, the threat behind his smile was clear. Sienna realized this wasn't just harassment, it was a test of whether she would break or fight back. Sienna walked into his house the next day with her hands trembling, but her mind clearer than ever. Mr. Hunt tried to intimidate her again, claiming there was a recording from the spa that showed her misbehaving. It was his way of making sure she stayed silent. But Sienna wasn't the same frightened girl from the day before. She knew something was off. Massage rooms didn't even have cameras, and the more he talked, the more desperate he sounded. So she made a quiet, courageous decision. If he was going to threaten her with imaginary evidence, she would protect herself with real evidence. She kept her phone recording, hidden in her pocket, capturing every word, every threat, every lie he tried to use to trap her. And for the first time, the power he held over her started to slip, just when Sienna thought his threats had reached their limit. Mr. Hunt revealed a new game, one meant to break her completely. He held out an expensive ring box, claiming it had gone missing and that her fingerprints were on it. The accusation hit her like a punch. It wasn't enough that he tried to shame her, silence her, and intimidate her. Now he wanted to brand her as a thief. He spoke with the confidence of a man who believed he was untouchable, certain that no one would question his version of events. But Sienna saw something different in his eyes, a flicker of panic. A rush to regain control after realizing she wasn't as easy to manipulate as he expected. For a moment, fear tightened her chest, but she didn't crumble. His lies were getting reckless, and the truth was beginning to corner him instead. Sienna's heart pounded as she approached the house again, unsure of what trap he might set next. But when the bedroom door opened, the last person she expected to see stood there, Susan, Mr. Hunt's wife, back early from her business trip. The shock on his face said everything. He stumbled over excuses, trying to twist the moment into something innocent, something business-related. But Susan had already seen too much over the years to fall for it again. And then the real turning point arrived. The spa administrator, who had quietly reviewed the security files, sent Susan the actual footage, the one that exposed her husband's behavior. not Sienna's. Suddenly, the lies unraveled, and all the pieces he had tried to manipulate fell apart in front of the only person who had the power to judge him fairly. In that instant, truth finally stepped into the room. The moment the truth surfaced, everything shifted. Susan's expression hardened not with confusion, but with the clarity of someone who had finally seen enough. She confronted Christopher with a calmness sharper than anger, telling him she knew this wasn't the first time he had used his power to hurt someone. His voice cracked as he begged her to believe him, but the evidence was undeniable, and the administrator's confession sealed his fate. Within minutes, police officers were at the door, placing him in handcuffs while he protested helplessly. Sienna watched, stunned, as the fear that had followed her for days dissolved into relief. Susan, now free from her husband's lies, apologized sincerely and promised justice would be served. For the first time since everything began, Sienna felt Sinnanot as an immigrant, not as a target, but as a courageous woman who refused to be silenced.